Welcome back to another episode of the Hardcore Casual with your boy, Bass the Kid. As always, please like and subscribe, share with a friend, a colleague, a relative, an immediate family member, an enemy, an associate, anything in between. I appreciate all the views. Before anything, I want to say a very big thank you and shout out to Adiola Depot, who had me on his channel earlier on today. It was a great experience to go down and actually witness the green chair in person. It's there's many times I've seen Ade, but this is the first time I've actually seen the green chair, and it was a privilege. He also had me as one of the first guests on his inaugural The Zone show, which I was not expecting at all. So yeah, I've got to thank Ade. He's one of the main reasons I do what I do on this YouTube platform. So yeah, if you're not subscribed to his channel, which quite frankly I think most of you should be if you're here, but if not, I'm gonna leave the link down below. Definitely subscribe to him, get those 50,000 subs ads. But yeah, there's a few things that happened over the last couple of days. So I guess without further ado, especially after what happened earlier on today, we got to talk about this. So let's get into it. So it's been officially announced that Canelo Alvarez will be returning on the 6th of May against John Ryder. Now look, this is probably the worst kept secret ever. I mean, it's not even a secret. Like, I guess they just hadn't announced it. It had been basically spoken about 4 weeks ago at this point. But yeah, it's finally been announced, and I guess maybe it wanted to be coincided with going to Mexico to actually do a press conference with regards to it. Now quite frankly, I like the fight from the standpoint of you've got a mandatory that you have to take care of. You might as well get that mandatory out of the way before purse bids and everything's called. At the end of the day, John Ryder has gone through the fire. He's taken the tough fights. He's been unfairly judged on a couple of cards, if I'm totally honest. Look, he beat Callum Smith for the 168 WBA titles, didn't get the decision. He basically went cross-platform to face Zach Parker, on a Queensbury card, and stopped him. He got a gift decision against Daniel Jacobs, I will say that, but at the end of the day, I mean, like they say, what goes around comes around, goes full circle. People say that Danny Jacobs got a gift decision against Gabe Rosado, and then you've got John Ryder, who didn't get a decision against Callum Smith, so ultimately that was just his chance. I've got no issues with it. I've seen a bunch of people say that, this is a terrible fight, like why does he get the opportunity, what about other guys? I'm not going to mention any other people's names, but put it this way, none of the people that were mentioned in terms of this person should be getting the shot, that person should be getting the shot, has done more than John Ryder in the last 3 years even. Like you go back that far in terms of activity, in terms of actually taking fights, tough fights, and fights that you were not the favorite to win, and winning those fights. Now the only issue some people may have is the fact that it's on the Zone pay-per-view in the US, and I'm assuming Canada as well. Look, in that respect, I mean, look, I can understand if someone's like, well, I don't know who this other guy is, so why am I having to pay pay-per-view for it when pay-per-views are only supposed to be for the biggest and best fights? But Canelo is the biggest global star at the moment when it comes to boxing, and he just fights on pay-per-view. It is what it is. I mean, at the moment it hasn't been said whether or not it's going to end up being pay-per-view in the UK, but if it is, I'll pay for it. More so because I think John Ryder deserves our support in this one. Look, he's gone to Mexico to have his I guess it would probably be his last ever attempt at a world title, and it's for undisputed. I guess he would have preferred to have maybe got the London, the UK call, like a Tottenham Hotspur Stadium or an Emirates. They probably like the Emirates Stadium, to be fair, or a Wembley or O2 or something like that. But I think with the football season kind of being extended out due to the World Cup. Maybe that just wasn't particularly an issue. You've got Canelo, who, you know, I guess once a homecoming, hasn't been back to Mexico to fight, I think, since 2011. You know, so it's a long time. So I can't really begrudge him his homecoming. And at the end of the day, like, it's not like John Ryder's getting to go Cancun or one of the commercial parts of Mexico. No, he's deep in the heart of the city in Guadalajara. So yeah, I'm happy it's finally been announced. If it does become pay-per-view on this side, I'm going to purchase it, because I think, if for nothing else, John Ryder is going to put his heart on his sleeve, and he's going to go to hell to try and win that undisputed. I definitely don't think he's just going there for a payday and a lay down. He doesn't do that. But yeah, much respect to John Ryder. We'll be wishing you well. But yeah, I am interested in that fight overall. Yeah, and if I've got to pay for it over here, so be it, I will do so. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, but that's my thoughts on that one. Now, by the time you see this, it's probably Thursday morning. So yeah, as yesterday, Joshua Buatsi announced that he has left Matchroom officially and has gone to Sky Sports and Boxer. He's also left 258 management. This was, you know, widely rumored to be the reason why Sky were down in Box Park, Croydon. I was down there with October Red and a few other people, so shout out to October. Again, if you guys aren't subscribed to that channel, make sure you subscribe. I will leave the link down below. And to say that Josh let off some of the most respectful shade I've heard in a while was an understatement. I mean, when he came, you know, basically when he came out on stage and said, look, I'm not gonna ask you to download that app to watch my fights. You know, you know the channels 401 to 407 on the TV. I was like, oh, okay, so we're doing that one. And you know what, to a degree, what I will say is, with regards to, you know, I guess the subtle little digs at the zone, and, you know, maybe them not having the same subscriber base or the same reach as Sky Sports. In the UK, I 100% agree. We all knew they was never gonna have the same, you know, the same level of visibility. Now, I did hear a few things with regards to how many people supposedly had watched the fight he had with Craig Richards at the O2. Now, I gotta take some of what I heard with a pinch of salt, purely because it did come from Sky Sports and Boxer employees. Of course, they're never gonna, you know, they're not gonna really want to talk up the you know, the talk up the competition, and vice versa. We hear it from on the other side as well. The zone, while they will talk about things that are happening on Sky and Boxer, they're never gonna just want to give them a leg up either. So I kind of get that, makes sense. But I've had a bit of time to digest the news, and while initially I said to myself, based on what he said and certain things I heard in some interviews afterwards as to reasons why he decided to leave, I get it from a certain standpoint. But then when it was like, oh, I'm not gonna make you download the app, I'm not gonna, you know, make you have to give your email and then give your details for a subscription, what? But then I'm like, but most things have got subscriptions nowadays. I mean, Netflix have got subscription. You have to use an email address for Netflix. For Disney Plus, You have to use an email address for BBC iPlayer. You know, you don't pay money out for it, but same with ITVX and All 4 and all the apps that we have over here in the UK. Paramount Plus is another one. So every single facility that we actually watch now and what we consume with content has apps. Sky Sports have an app that you have to put your email address into in order to use, and you have to have a subscription, because bear in mind, whether you pay the monthly subscription for the Zone or not, Sky Sports is not free. Sky Sports is not ITV or BBC that you can get on every single television within the country. So yeah, like, I understand that in terms of the reach, it's a much bigger platform, but now I'm kind of processing it. The whole thing of, I'm not gonna make you download the app, that just sounded, you know, that was just clearly shots and nothing but shots. From a visibility standpoint, okay, so let's talk about that. Yeah, Sky does have a huge visibility within the UK, but I thought the goal was to be world champion. Well, the entire world can't watch you on Sky Sports because the entire world does not have Sky Sports. Now, the entire world doesn't have DAZN either, but there is a lot more territories that do have DAZN than Sky. And I'm definitely going to say that across the globe, DAZN's reach is a lot further and have a much higher subscription number than what is in the UK and the Sky market. So unless you just want to be a domestic star, if you just want to be big in the UK or be like, you know, the big fish in the small pond, then okay, fair enough, it makes sense to go over to Sky Sports and Boxer. But if you want to be able to be international, be global, cross-platform, every different territory, I mean, DAZN makes a lot more sense, especially considering that you train in the US right now. DAZN's in the US, it's in Canada. Sky Sports ain't over there, so who's going to be doing any marketing and promo for you while you're outside of the UKI? And then you look at it and say, okay, well, what's over at Sky? Like, when Lawrence Okoli went over to Sky, it made sense because almost all the cruiserweight scene was there. And even though he wants to move up to heavyweight, you can do a lot within the short space of time while you're there. At Sky at the moment, Boxer, the biggest thing that is over at Boxer at the minute is Dan Aziz. And I say that with absolutely no disrespect at all. Dan is one of the best. I was with Dan earlier on today. Like, he's a great guy. He's grafted, he's grinded, he's come up the hard way. But if we're just being honest and looking at things in terms, Dan's looking for world title opportunities potentially towards the back end of this year, maybe next year. Dan is the British, Commonwealth and European champion at this point in time. So the biggest access and visibility and that you have is to the European title, to European level. The world titles are not over there. One is at Top Rank in the US, which we've actually seen do not even pick up a lot of the Sky Sports shows that occur. They take some of them, but they definitely don't pick up the amount of Sky Sports shows as Sky Sports pick up the Top Rank shows. And I've noticed that because I get the cross feeds, I get to see which ones they take. And a lot of my US friends complain the fact that they don't get to see a lot of the Sky Sports cards because ESPN are not taking them up. So you have that there. Bivol is on DAZN. A lot of the, especially even the domestic light heavyweight scene that you can have big fights with are on DAZN. Your biggest grudge match that everyone wants to see is over Queensberry and BT Sport. Now, yeah, you might end up being able to do the cross network thing, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, not after what happened with Joe Joyce and Joseph Parker when Ben Shalom sent him over to BT, you know, to get beat up. I don't think he's going to be keen to take another star cross-platform for the time being. So it's just, a lot of it kind of just smacks of, all right, I'm gonna get the bag for easier touches for the time being, and maybe a belt loosens up, becomes vacant, and I might be able to kind of get that moving forward. I mean, again, some of the things that I did here, I can say, all right, it makes sense that you would move, especially if you're not in the game, I guess, for the long run. And ultimately, from what I heard, it looks like while the money was able to be matched, you have money plus the visibility plus a few other benefits that maybe you didn't have before. Maybe you don't want to be that global star, have that global reach. I don't know. I guess maybe, like they say, you take care of home first, right? So ultimately, I don't think it was the right move in terms of if you want legacy. But if it's just about, for lack of a better word, easy money or easier paydays, then you know what, more power to you. Like, at the end of the day, we all say you gotta get your money however you gotta get it, and if that's what the determining factor was, then cool. Also, I guess it was also announced at the same time that they picked up the Poland card with what was it, Ryan Rosansky and Alan Babic, and I know that Martin Bakoli is going to be making his boxer debut on that card as well. So now I'm starting to think, did Boxer potentially facilitate the purse bid that they had, that they won, in order to get that Alan Babic fight? Because Alan Babic has said he's actually not signed a contract with Matchroom. He's never actually signed a contract because he wanted to be a free agent just in case opportunities came up that he was willing to take. But obviously he's done a lot of work with Matchroom, Eddie, Dillian White and whatnot. And the one thing I've got to say now, right, is it's becoming apparent that Sky Sports and Boxer, it's almost like their entire objective is just to disrupt Matchroom and DAZN, because I haven't seen them sign anyone from outside of the Matchroom stable within like the last year and a half since they've been about. Everyone that they've signed has literally been either the brand new Olympians that came through, or they've been like ex-Matchroom guys. I haven't seen them go for anyone who used to be on like Wasserman or is now Channel 5 or, you know, Hennessy Sports or Queensbury. I literally haven't seen any signings from any of those. It's literally all Matchroom guys. So at this point, I've just got to be looking at it and saying, this is now actually an agenda. This isn't about just getting the biggest and best hand. This is about getting and disrupting and destroying the Matchroom stable within the UK. Now look, obviously part of that, you gotta blame Eddie Hearn. He came out on smoke, so now I guess they're coming out on their own smoke. But it's like there's more than enough fighters out there that have been begging for chances, been begging for opportunities, but every single fighter that you seem to be, you know what, I was about to get into something, but I think I'm going to leave it there for the time being. And yeah, we're going to upload this as is, and I will maybe think about if I want to approach that additional subject in another later date. But for everyone, please again, like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and that is the Hardcore Casual out.